Hi, I'm Dave Allen, and welcome to the Gamer's Den. And today will be turn 10 of our Mice and Mystics gameplay. And now that we're in the kitchen tunnels, we have finally gotten rid of all of the minions there. We had to add another cheese to the minion wheels. Now we have 3 cheese there. Now looking great. But right here is the initiative track for what we have for right now. And it looks like pretty simple. Just the mice. And now for this turn, we're actually going to be able to have Collin be rescued and brought back onto the tile because there's no more minions there. So he will be able to come back and join us. So hopefully he didn't have any kind of issues since he's been away. So we'll kind of see how he's going to play out for the rest of this turn. So with that kind of said, what I did ask you guys previously is if we should go into the kitchens or not. And I got an even number of yes and no. So I'm going to be basing it on a die roll, and we're going to kind of look at that later on in the game when we get to it. And I didn't get any player submissions for this round. So what I'm going to do for this round is I'm just going to basically be searching with everyone else until Tilda's going to explore into the area that wins the die roll. You know, either we're going into the tunnel entrance or we're going to go into the kitchen. So we're going to kind of figure that stuff out. Hopefully, we'll be able to survive this chapter and continue on. But for right now, let's go on to Maginos' turn and see what he's going to do. First things first, though, since I'm in control, what I'm going to do is take advantage of the fact that we don't have any minions on the board, and I'm going to roll for Maginos' movement. So we're going to go and roll for Maginos' movement. And he gets a 3. So Maginos, I think his best bet is just going to be moving right here next to Nez and Tilda. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a search with Maginos. Make sure it stays in the dice box here. And Maginos doesn't find anything. Now, you may think that he actually gets 2 cheese because of this, but he doesn't. You actually don't get any cheese while searching if you roll a cheese. It just doesn't get added to the formula. Now, Maginos has some free actions he has available to him, but there's really nothing he can do. So we're going to end Maginos' turn. Okay, I said this last time. Maginos lost his touch. He was on fire right in the very first 3 or 4 turns. Now he's really slowing down. Can't find anything. Can't hit anything. He's just definitely kind of lost it. I don't know if like something happened and now he's losing his mind and he just can't, be able to attack people. He just lost that vigor. He lost, that ability to be able to take people out. I don't know. Something's going on with Maginos at the moment. So with that said, what we're going to do is move on to Collin's turn. So now it's Collin's turn. So now our fearless leader. So since there's no minions on the board, what we're going to be able to do is bring Collin back onto the board. Now the rules say you have to put him on the same space as another mouse. So we're actually just going to fill up this space right here, and we're going to leave Collin right there. The only problem is that the actual placement of the mouse back onto the tile takes up all their actions. So there's no additional actions that he can do. He can't move, nothing like that. So Collin can't do anything this turn, and he's just going to have to pass play on to Nez. And we're going to end Collin's turn. Woo! Now we got Collin back. You're probably wondering, why didn't we do anything with him? And mostly it's because when a mouse is rescued and brought back onto the tile after being captured, that rescuing feat takes up that mouse's entire action. so it won't be able to do anything else for the rest of that turn. Plus, there really were no free actions that we could really do for him at that moment. So with Collin there, we're just going to kind of leave him in that spot. We're just going to have Collin wait there until we can actually have a mouse explore into a new tile, and then we'll kind of be able to move him about to where he needs to be. So let's move on to Nez's turn. So Nez is going to roll for movement. Roll for movement, keep it in the dice box. There we go. Nez rolls a 3. So now what we're going to have to do is that he can move up to 4 spaces. Now we're kind of that inevitable decision making. Do we move on into the tunnel entrance space, or do we move up into the kitchens to try to save Miss Maggie right now? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to search with Nez. I'm not going to do anything like that since Tilda goes last and we can do it on her turn, deciding where we go. I'm going to actually search with Nez instead of exploring or doing anything like that. And we're going to... So Nez does find something. Nez finds... Nez finds the Tinkerer's treasure. So Nez gets the Tinkerer's treasure back, and now he can use that card instantly, since he found it, to get any other weapon or armor card that he wants to get. So I'm going to kind of sift through here. Nez actually isn't wearing any armor on him, but you also want to look at what other characters have at this point. Collin has his leather breastplate, Maginos has his shifting cloak, Tilda has her leather breastplate as well. So what we could do, since Nez does have 2 wounds on him, we might start thinking that maybe we should actually really try to defend Nez as much as possible. So let's look into some of the armor here that we can do. So 3 options I came up with are the fish leather breastplate, fish scale armor, and walnut shell breastplate. So looking at the 3, I think the one thing that I'm going to do is to get rid of the fish scale armor, mostly because there's not going to be any other water spaces, and I really am not going to really want Brody to chase me first on top of all the other mice. So I have leather breastplate that gives me +1 and walnut shell breastplate. Walnut shell breastplate gives me an additional +1 defense die if I'm jumping out of water. But we know that there's going to be no more water spaces coming in here, so the walnut shell breastplate is not going to be as useful. So I think we're going to go with the leather breastplate for Nez. So now he has a 3 defense value with his thimble helm and his leather breastplate, and plus his 4 attack stat. So Nez is really starting to buff up right now. And I think with that being said, we're going to equip the leather breastplate onto Nez right away. And then what we're going to have to do is take the Tinkerer's treasure and the rest of these weapons and armors cards, and what we're going to do is reshuffle them back into the search deck. Now that we're done shuffling the search deck, putting that back together, now we're going to end Nez's turn. Yes! Alright, so Nez found the Tinkerer's treasure, was able to transform it into a leather breastplate. Now he has even more defense die that can actually be able to protect him. So this is looking really good for Nez. And the fact that he also has the thimble helm, which also takes away treachery cards if he ever finds a treachery card. So that's really good too. So we have a lot of things in place for Nez. And he has those 2 poison wounds. So hopefully that additional defense keeps him alive a little bit longer. So now let's move on to Tilda's turn and see where are we going. To the kitchen. So let's see what we're going to be doing going up into the future here. Oh boy. So it looks like we're going to be going up into the kitchen. So first what we have to do is roll for movement for Tilda. And Tilda gets a 3. Okay. So now that Tilda has her 3 movement, what she's going to do is she's going to use an explore action. And she's going to explore through the kitchen tunnels up into the kitchen. So the first thing is a kitchen story moment. Filch pushed the loose tile aside, and the party poked their heads up from the floor. The kitchens lay before them, with Miss Maggie towering above everything. The fastidious older woman appeared to have been in the act of scrubbing floors, but now was desperately trying to squash pesky roaches that had invaded her kitchen.
Let's help her,
said Collin, leaping up bravely with his sword.
Perhaps we should talk about this,
Said Filch.
Scared, Filch?
Nez chided. An ear-splitting scream froze them all in their tracks, and suddenly Miss Maggie's shadow fell over their hiding place on the floor. She screamed.
Yes,
Said Filch.
very scared.
And they are going to come out right here onto this flip space. This tile does have a special setup. It is place 6 roach figures normally, but only on the minion entry spaces on the kitchen floor. Place 6 cheese tokens and 2 more roaches on the kitchen counter special area. The special surge for this tile is Brody. Special rule, hungry roaches. While there is cheese and no mice on the countertop, the roaches there will not move as usual toward the mice. Instead, they will attempt to eat the cheese on the countertop. Roll an action die for each roach on the countertop that is eating cheese. Remove 1 cheese token for each cheese rolled and place it on the minion wheel. If there are no more cheese tokens on the countertop, the roaches return to their normal behavior. And then there's another special rule. Gaining Ms. Maggie's attention. When a mouse defeats a roach, roll a die. If a starburst is not rolled, Ms. Maggie swats that mouse with her mop. That mouse becomes knocked down, and the roach that was just defeated is placed on the kitchen counter space. If a starburst is rolled, the mice have successfully captured Ms. Maggie's attention. The party receives the Ms. Maggie Ally Story Achievement token. Advance the chapter end marker 1 page on the chapter track. Once the party has the Ms. Maggie Ally token, do not roll to gain Ms. Maggie's attention any longer. Okay, so as you can see, this is what the board setup is going to look like for our next turn. We have 3 roaches here, 3 roaches there, 2 roaches there, and 6 cheese on top of all of that. And what we're going to have to do is reshuffle the initiative track. So now we're going to see what the initiative track is going to look like for this tile. So we're going to shuffle up our character cards here. Okay, so our first person to go is Tilda. Our second person to go is Collin. Our third person to go is Maginos. Our fourth person to go is the roaches. And then our final person on the initiative track, of course, is going to be Nez. Our initiative track is not looking too terrible right now. So with that initiative track set up, what we're going to have to do right away is add 1 cheese to Collin's stash because he is not the first one on the initiative track, so he gets 1 cheese due to his Born to Lead ability. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to end Tilda's turn, and we're going to continue on with the game. So, Tilda. Okay, so the die roll ended up going to the kitchen. Probably not the best thing I would have chosen, but it just ended up being the die roll that we ended up making. Since we had an equal number of people saying yes and no, now we're just going to be heading up into the kitchen, seeing how that's going to be going. So with all this completed, Tilda moves us into the kitchen. Hopefully we can find Ms. Maggie and be able to help her as soon as possible. These roaches are definitely going to be a huge issue for us. Hopefully maybe even we can give some cheese to Nez to do some thunder squeaking or do something to eliminate these roaches as quickly as possible so that we can be able to find Ms. Maggie. But with all this said, we're kind of looking at this. We're set up our new tile. Collin gets a cheese because he's not the first one on the initiative track. So what I'm going to do at this moment is just kind of leave it to you guys. Leave a comment for Collin, Tilda, and Maginos. Tell us what they should do. Tell us where they should go. And hopefully we'll be able to get through this chapter safely and be able to move on into chapter 2. But with all this said, thanks for watching. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.